What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, everyone? Let me know if my audio's okay. Hope y'all doing well tonight. Gonna do a late show. I'm not gonna keep y'all too long. We're gonna do a late show tonight. Let me know if my volume and everything is good first. Nashville checking in. What's going on, Nashville? Devon said I'm good. Okay. Hold on just a second. Let me get this up here. All right. How y'all doing tonight? What's going on, 234? How y'all doing tonight? So, I'm gonna wait on a few more people to get on in the room. Appreciate y'all tuning in tonight. If you're new here, make sure you hit that like button so we can get the stream out to more people. Make sure you hit that like button. Give me 1 second. So, what's going on tonight, y'all? So, I'm going to talk about Grambling. I'm going to talk about Stephen A. Smith and First Take. They came on talking about Grambling. But, you know, they never do this for these other schools. When you talk about HBCUs, you want to only do it when it's something negative to say. I'm going to talk about that. But first, we're gonna listen to what they had to say. I'm going to play the video for y'all so y'all can see what they doing, what the mainstream media is doing with HBCUs. You don't want to give us any attention when it's something good, only if it's Dion. You know, if it's Coach Prime going on the show, then they have good stuff to say then. But if it's any other school, it's only when something's bad, that's when they want to talk about HBCU then. And that's not right. You know, give HBCUs shine when something good happens. They've talked about Grambling twice, I want to say, and they've only done it when it's a negative story. The Art Brow story, and now this. And this happened like weeks ago, and all of a sudden Stephen A. Smith wanted to talk about it today, well, the other day on his platform, which was crazy to me. But I'm gonna open up the phone lines a little later for y'all to call in and comment about it. I'm not gonna do a long show tonight. But we're gonna talk about this. Hold on just a second. I'm gonna play the video for y'all. Hold on just a second. Let me know. I'm gonna play the video. Let me know if y'all can hear it though. Give me 1 second.
We have a quick take. Grambling State hired Chelsea.
Can y'all hear that? Let me know. I just paused it. Can y'all hear it? I want to make sure y'all can hear that first. Let me know if y'all can hear it first. Could y'all hear that? Somebody let me know if y'all can hear. Okay, cool. All right.
Chelsea Lucas as their new volleyball coach. Then in April, Lucas decided to cancel all the scholarships for the team and cut all the walk-ons. Grambling announced last week it had hired a law firm to investigate the matter, and the former players started a petition drive to have their scholarships reinstated. As a reference, NCAA regulations say student athletes are granted athletic scholarships. A scholarship is not guaranteed and not binding. Stephen A., your thoughts?
I'm disgusted.
See, already right here, the first words out of his mouth, I got a problem with it. You disgusted. He says he's disgusted when it comes to HBCU topics. He want to go in hard like that. I can't stand that about him. He only does this with black athletes and black organizations. He goes in like this. He's talking about he's disgusted. So now, this is the first time a lot of people are going to hear about Grambling. So you're already coming like this. It's already lowering the brand and making people think negative about the school anyway. But let's keep going.
And we got to get back to some basketball talk and all of this stuff. But as a graduate of an HBCU, recognizing what Grambling once represented, I'm going to ask for national attention to be brought to what the hell is going on down at Grambling.
So you see how hard he going? He wants national attention brought to what's going down, but you don't want national attention brought down to the football players and all the talented players and all the good things HBCUs are doing. You don't want national attention for that, but you want national attention for this. It's crazy to me. Let's keep going, though.
So we have a situation where Hugh Jackson becomes the head coach and he hires former Baylor coach Art Browse with his checkered past. It was a mistake, but it happens. I wish Hugh Jackson nothing but the best. But that call at that particular moment in time, we already discussed how egregious I thought that decision was, especially for a coach at an HBCU to make, okay? Considering the paucity of African-American coaches, the opportunities that they're not getting. Hugh Jackson was one of the people at front and center lamenting that, and still that's who you hire. That was a problem for me. That's neither here nor there. With this situation with Grambling, who the hell is this coach Chelsea Lucas? And who the hell, and I'm asking that question almost rhetorically because here's the real question. Who the hell do you think you are that you get to hide? You and that damn athletic director. Somebody needs to look into this. I want to hear about some law firm.
Listen to the venom that he has when it comes to talking about black players and black schools, HBCUs. He does not use this kind of venom when it comes to talking about other athletes because you know why? ESPN and his owners of that platform, they won't stand for that. But you have the clearance to go online or go on TV and talk crazy about HBCUs all you want. And it's crazy to me. But let's keep going.
Being hired by Grambling to look into a Grambling issue. I think there needs to be an outside law firm to investigate what the hell is happening at Grambling athletics, period. A new coach comes in and completely eradicates every scholarship on the roster. He's a
Now, they're talking like this is the first time this ever happened at a school before. A lot of coaches do this. When they come in, they make the kids try out again for scholarships because they wasn't there. They didn't give those kids those scholarships. You know, it's a tough game, but it's a year-by-year basis sometimes in some places. So this isn't just Grambling doing this, but that's how he's coming off like this is just, this incompetent school. This what they doing down there. And I have a problem with this. I have a problem with what it's saying about HBCUs. And wait till you get to the end. What he says at the end really pissed me off, but let's keep going.
Kids we're talking about here.
For those
they can't, how they gonna pay their tuition? Mm-hmm. How they gonna pay for school? How they gonna finish school? Yeah. I thought this was an institution of higher learning. I thought we cared about these kids making sure these kids get an education so they could contribute to our society. I thought we cared about that. I thought we cared about their upbringing. I thought we cared about their well-being. You got parents and students literally scammering, like, how are we going to pay for our tuition?
And it's June.
And the
school starts in a couple of months.
And the athletic director, no comment, nothing. And this woman, Chelsea Lucas, you just going to walk up in there and just strip kids of a scholarship, nowhere to go, scrambling to land somewhere else so they could get their tuition paid. Ladies and gentlemen, parents out there, especially African Americans, because we talk about HBCU here, we need to strongly look into what the hell is going on at Grambling State University.
So strongly look at what's going on at Grambling University. But when you see all this stuff go on at these Power 5 schools, you never hear anything from Stephen A. Smith. You never hear anything from First Take. They sweep all this stuff under the rug. That's what they do. But when it comes to HBCUs, now mind y'all, they don't talk about Grambling. You'll be hard pressed to see Grambling or any HBCU other than Jackson State get on First Take for a positive message. Only when something bad is happening, that's when they take their time out to talk about an HBCU. This is just crazy to me. But all right, let's keep going.
You got to pay attention because the kind of stuff that's happening here right now is incredibly alarming. I don't know all the facts. I don't know. We just know the story.
You don't know all the facts, but you've let your platform go. You let this go nationwide, but you don't know all the facts. Look at this. This is not crazy to y'all. This is crazy to me. You don't know all the facts, but yet and still you come on TV and talk about Grambling like this, but you don't know all the facts.
We see what's happened.
Yeah.
We don't know why, but we haven't heard anything from Chelsea Lucas. We haven't heard anything from the athletic director other than he stands by his coach. You stand by walking in and watching a coach walk in, and before she had a chance to have bad breath, she gonna sit up there and cancel the entire roster of scholarships. This is, I understand they have the right to do it. It's nothing illegal. They're not breaking laws, NCAA rules, but there's something that reeks of being amoral to me. There's something that's morally wrong with this, and we need to look at this. I advise
I'm sure
every
there
parent,
will be a response.
every parent that has your child thinking about going to Grambling State.
Is it morally wrong when a player gets hurt at a Power 5 and they take his scholarship away and act like and just throw him away like trash? Is that morally wrong when that happens? But you never hear anything from the mainstream media when stuff like that happens. It's crazy.
For athletics, we need to investigate what the hell is going on with that athletic director. And we need to investigate what the hell is going on with that athletic program. I'm saying it on national TV.
Yeah.
These girls, these young ladies, how they gonna pay for their tuition? How they gonna graduate? How they gonna pay for their tuition? How they gonna continue to go to school? They were living off campus, and then you told them they had to live on campus after letting them get leases. Well, break your lease. Well, they can't afford it. Well, that's tough. Figure it out. Really?
First of all, you don't even know the facts, so he's just pretty much just making up stuff right now. We don't even know if these kids stay on campus or off campus. He don't know anything about this. He's just talking right now. He's just making the situation look bad for views. You know, this is what they do in mainstream media.
That's what they're saying is going on here. There needs to be an investigation.
Yeah.
There needs to be an investigation. An outside law firm. I don't want somebody hired by Grambling. Because right now, I don't trust them.
Yeah.
I don't trust them.
It's heartbreaking and it's an overwhelming situation.
You don't trust Grambling. Man, this had me hot, y'all. But wait till this last comment. This last comment is what is really damaging to me.
For those student athletes and their families.
Young ladies, volleyball.
I'm
Where
sure
they
we'll
going?
hear a response now because you did just bring national attention to it right here.
And I will. I'm not going to stop.
Okay.
I'll bring it in again and again and again and again.
You see that? See how passionate he is about that? But if this was a Power 5 school, he would not say anything. But this last comment, I'm going to play this last comment, and then we'll talk about it. But this is the most damaging thing when he said this.
I'm coming. Thanks.
Oh, hold on. Did I miss it? I missed the part where he said...
For watching ESPN on YouTube. For live...
He said parents need to really consider... He said something about the parents need to really consider sending their students to HBCUs. He said something in that vein. But saying stuff like that on national TV, that hurts HBCUs because you're making it look like HBCUs aren't going to take care of your child. Don't send your kids to HBCUs. And we don't need mainstream media doing things like that. That's crazy to me. So you have these people, just because they black, we like to think, okay, they with us, they ride with us. But that's not how it always is, y'all. That's not how it always is. And it makes you ask the question, are you really with us? Are you really with us? And when you got a lot of content creators and people like that come on these platforms, and they pretty much, they're tethers. I call them tethers. You know, they look like us, but they not really with us. And anytime they get a chance to talk about HBCUs and make black people look bad, and if they can get a check from it, or they can get a check for it, they will do it. You know, this is the type of stuff that really pisses me off. I'm a come on here and talk like this. You know, all these other people, They want to work. They hoping to work for ESPN and all these other platforms. I don't care about working for ESPN. I don't care about that. I'm gonna come on here and tell the truth. But that really made me mad because it's like you're making us look bad for a check. Don't do us like that. We have to stop supporting those people. Right. It's crazy to me. His partner talking about, yeah, shit her ass up too. She went to a school who's done worse to black kids. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to me, y'all. It's just like, and they get paid to do this. If they did this to a Power 5 school, they would have so many people calling in, complaining. Stephen A. Smith would have to come out and apologize and all this other kind of stuff. That's the stuff they make them do when they mess with these powerful white institutions. But I'm going to open up the phone lines, y'all, if y'all want to call in and give your opinion on the video. I know we're doing a late video tonight. But if y'all want to call in, give your opinion on it. But this is not what we need. We don't need this kind of vitriol and talk with the momentums that HBCUs are having right now. And, you know, he's supposed to be an advocate for HBCUs. He's supposed to be an HBCU graduate. Don't talk about Grambling like that, you know, on national TV, and you never talk about them when something good has happened. But the phone lines are open. Phone number 657-390-4814. Phone number 657-390-4814. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. But yeah, and Molly, you know, she's just gonna keep going with it. Hold on just a second. G-Man said we have to start supporting those people, right? Let me read the comments. Get that Super Tom out of here. That's what he get paid to do. He get paid to do that. S-Class Entertainment says, yeah, what about all the recruits Grambling has? No, they would never talk about that. They would never give Grambling the time of day and talk about that. That's not what they do. Stephen A. is a joke. He's not for our community, right? And he gets mad when we say something about that, but look what you do, dude. You get on TV and you talk about us so bad on TV, but when it's the other side, you don't do that. You don't have that venom for them. And so many players have came out and talked about him and, you know, brought up like how hard he goes at black people. You know, he says, well, I do it because it's my community and I really care about it and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's a way you can do it, though. It's a way you can do it without making us look terrible. You know, and this is damaging for Grambling. You know, you put this out here on national airways, making Grambling look bad, and they're trying to build their program up. They have Hugh Jackson down there. They're doing a lot of good things at Grambling. You don't talk about that. You only talk about the negative. And that's not the momentum that we need. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate y'all pulling up. Make sure you hit that like button so the stream will get out to more people. Real Talk says, I agree. If y'all want to call in, phone lines are open, 657-390-4814. Decided to come on and do a late show tonight. I was going to do a video tomorrow, but I decided to come on and do a show tonight. We got a call coming in. Hold on, y'all. What's going on, caller? You live? Talk to me.
Hey, it's Chris Lucas, man. How you been? Long time no see.
I know, man. What's going on with you?
Yeah, nothing much, man. I mean, I've been trying to like check out your videos, but each time that I try to watch it, it's always been so late, just like this one. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm not gonna be on too long. I just like want to ask you a couple questions. Do you feel what Chelsea Lucas is doing is like the right thing? Where are you going with this? How do you feel like outside of like what Stephen A. Smith feels like how do you feel about what
I
Chelsea Lucas is doing?
I feel like she could have went about it differently. She could have been a little bit more transparent. But what she did was within her rights. It's a new regime. It's a new coaching staff. She didn't put those players on that team. So of course she's gonna bring in her players. She's gonna make them try out again and things like that. I see nothing wrong with that. You have to earn your scholarship. And then there was so many questions about, the players didn't like her and, they wanted to make it hard for her and things like that. But I'm not going to get into that because we don't want to, blame people when we don't really know the correct story. But I think in the rules of the NCAA, she did what was within her power. Would I have liked that to be done to me? No, I probably would feel some type of way if I had to try out again. But that happens at a lot of schools. You have to try out again. You just can't be, you just not grandfathered in to a program like that when a new coaching staff comes in.
Yeah, I definitely understand like where you're coming from. I feel like this is more like an ethical kind of debate on like the stuff that she's doing over at Grambling, and then a lot of I hear like a lot of people try to add like her personal resume within like her head coaching record, does she have like the power to even do that? I feel like people push that into play. Do you agree with that as well?
Repeat that one more time for me.
Like I feel yeah, there are people out there who they see her record.
Yeah.
And her record is it's like mediocre, it's like not the best, like it's more so like a mediocre kind of thing, and then they see her pull this kind of trigger within the
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, so no matter what her record is, they hired her. So it's her job as the coach to do what's best for her and what's best for the team. What she thinks is best for the program. No matter what her previous record was, they hired her. Now she's gonna be under more pressure to win. Yeah, but she has the right to do what she wants to do with her program. But I appreciate the call. I got Mr. Ford on the line. I'm gonna get Mr. Ford to come in and
oh boy, Mr. Ford. Okay,
yeah.
Let me get off this line.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Yep. What's going on, Mr. Ford?
Hey.
Talk to me.
Yeah, listen. I was just listening to the conversation. I haven't heard the Stephen A. commentary about Grambling because I'm at school during the day. But let me just say this, and I mean this with no disrespect. Now, y'all have to consider the source again now with Stephen A. now, because I call that coon commentary that he does a lot. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you got 10 subjects or 10 topics, Stephen A. is right on 2 and wrong on 8. Okay?
Hey, Mr. Ford, let's try not to use the C word on here because, that'll trigger the algorithm on YouTube.
Okay. So, as far as Stephen A. Smith is concerned, consider the source. Consider the source. Like I said, I haven't had a chance to hear the interview and what he said about Grambling or what he said about the volleyball program, but you just said it correctly. For the transfer portal people, May 1st was important. If you were in that transfer portal by May 1st, you can compete if it's football or basketball next year. But if you were not in that transfer portal by May 1st, you got to sit out. Now, some schools are signing players who did not make that May 1st deadline, and they're going to pay for their scholarships, but they're going to have to sit out. Now, in the case, like you said, of that lady at Grambling, coaches do this all the time.
Yep.
You just have to stay within the bylaws and the laws of the NCAA. I gave y'all the example of John Calipari when he got to the University of Kentucky. I told you about Dion after the spring season. He took 35 scholarships. Okay? So coaches do that. And I've told you, I've met a lot of coaches who regretted they didn't clean house when they got to the school. But the thing that's, and I know this might be a little bit off the topic here, this is what is concerning me right now. We have got to upgrade specifically men's basketball in the SWAC. Now, we got all of these young people in this transfer portal. I just hope that those coaches went out and got some of that talent and bringing that talent back to their campus next fall.
That's
when
true.
School starts, we need to have some of them outstanding players. Because now I meant to do it today, but I missed out on it. But I was told that from August until May 1st, August 2021 to May 1st, 2022, there were 2,000 football players in the transfer portal. And if it was 2,000 football players in that transfer portal, man, that means there was a lot of outstanding players in there. And I don't know if it was that many for basketball, but I do know that there was some outstanding players. I hope that those coaches in the SWAC went out and got some of those players that was in that transfer portal, because let me tell you something, we got to upgrade basketball in the SWAC. All right?
Well, let me say one thing about that, Mr. Ford. In regards to basketball, we do need to upgrade, but I'm going to put a little pressure on the fans, too. We got to show up. You know, I see the football games are packed, but then I see a lot of these basketball games, and it's an empty house. Like, you can't build a program with nobody coming. So I really want SWAC fans to start really, you know, getting excited about basketball and actually going to the game and supporting those players. You know, because you'll make big time players come when you pack the house out.
If you go and get some big-time players, I guarantee you they'll come.
Yeah.
Now, here's the other thing, and I've said this before, and a lot of people don't like when I say this. The SWAC basketball tournament should be in Jackson, Mississippi. Why do I say that? You remember, the SWAC is a super conference. It goes all the way from Texas to Florida. Where's the middle of the SWAC? Jackson, Mississippi. It does not help us to have that. Now, don't get me wrong. Bartow Arena in Birmingham is beautiful. But the halfway point is Jackson, Mississippi. That tournament needs to be played in Jackson, Mississippi. And I guarantee you that attendance will be 10 times better. Because, listen, the attendance for the championship game this year for the men was 756. I keep arguing, I keep telling people they should have had 2,000 seniors in there from them Birmingham and Jefferson County High School in Bartow Arena. Now, the other thing is I want our track to get better. I think that the winning time, I need to go back and look at it again, the winning time for the 100-meter dash this year was something like 10.7. That's not bad. But I would like for it to be between 10.3 and 10.5. Remember, 10.3 is world class. So we've got to upgrade our
track team. Start recruiting better.
Yeah, we got to get some.
A&T been doing their thing. A&T been doing really good, and they've been putting their program on the map. You know, so. A lot of other HBCUs definitely need to follow that.
Congratulations to Prairie View. I think Prairie View swept the SWAC championship. They won the girls and they won the men's championship. So congratulations to Prairie View. But I saw some other teams, though, that didn't do real good. I don't understand that. To be honest with you, now, when I was a student at Grambling, Jackson had a coach named Coach Epps who was world class. And you can't tell me Jackson shouldn't have a world-class track team. You can't tell me because I've seen them have it.
Yeah.
Okay? Texas Southern should have a world-class track program because you're in the city of Houston, Texas. We've already talked about the fact that you're in the 4th largest city in America and you're in the 2nd or 3rd largest state in America. Okay? So Texas Southern has no excuse. All right? Alabama A&M should have an outstanding men and women's track team that should be able to compete not only nationally but internationally. Florida A&M.
Mr. Ford.
You know what Florida A&M gave you.
Mm-hmm.
That's where Bob Hayes came from. At one time, he was called the world's fastest human while he was a student at Florida A&M. Okay? There's no reason for Florida A&M not to have a track program that can compete nationally and internationally.
Mr. Ford, Mr. Ford, let me get this call real quick. I'm gonna put you on hold real quick. Hold on just a second.
Okay.
What's going on, caller? You live? Talk to me.
Hey, what's up, man? This is Dre.
What's going on, Dre?
In Charlotte. Wanted to speak on the Grambling situation. So,
yeah, go ahead.
I saw that on ESPN, and I went to North Carolina A&T, so I'm an HBCU alum. I think with the president, the volleyball coach, I think there's a way to do everything. You know what I'm saying? I think that they probably thought it was volleyball. And that it would, because it's a non-revenue sport, that it was going to pass over. But the girls put it out on social media. So when it's on social media, it's a public forum. It's a public story.
Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith being one of the biggest HBCU alums that does a lot for HBCUs, you brought it to the forefront because clearly enough people think something was done wrong. Like, even at a PWI, they don't cut the whole team. I mean, even on volleyball, no one would have said nothing, even if it was Alabama, because it's volleyball. But if HBCUs are supposed to be different, we're supposed to handle things different. Like, you don't cut the whole team on nobody. You know what I'm saying?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Let me say this real quick. I'm fine with that. But if you're gonna talk about HBCUs when something bad happens, give us that attention when something good happens. Don't just come after us when it's a big negative story. So that's my problem with ESPN.
Yeah, but clearly it was brought to the forefront. It was something like this. It was brought to the forefront because this story's been out for a while. So it ain't like we're not going to say he was the first to it. Story been out for months. So clearly, if it got to him, it's gotten some legs. You see what I'm getting at? Story been out for probably 4 or 5 months. So it kind of got some legs now. Now you like, oh, okay. If it gets to him, that means Grambling PR hasn't done enough to quell this and to satisfy this. You know what I'm saying? So, now if he was the first one to be on it, I get it.
Yeah.
But the story been out for a while. And if it gets to his desk where he got a bunch of stuff going on, then I'm cool with him addressing it because he's not the first to address it. There's been a bunch of other people who address it. Sports Illustrated has talked about it. It's been other people. This is the first time he's addressed. He just happened to have the biggest show. And sometimes you need somebody to put the spotlight on people for them to do right. Because the athletic not saying nothing, and the coach ain't saying nothing. So clearly it got his attention, and, sometimes you need somebody like with that type of platform to get answers because clearly no one's saying nothing to people in Grambling.
Okay.
So
well, I appreciate.
I didn't have a problem with him, because it wasn't like he was the first one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wasn't like that when it dropped. He was on first take the next day. This story probably been out for at least 90 days. And if stuff still isn't done to people's satisfaction, that means it got to him. I mean, somebody literally was like, okay, Stephen A. Smith ain't necessarily the easiest person to get to. So I mean, it literally got to him. So
Okay.
I like what he did, and sometimes you got to put people's feet to the fire.
All right. Well, that's your opinion. You know, you're entitled to your opinion. I appreciate the call, though. I got other callers, so I'm gonna get to them. Thank you for the call.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Ford, you got to retort to that. I got Coach Walker on the other line, so I'm gonna put him on the call too. Mr. Ford, you got to respond to that.
Go ahead on, let Coach Walker talk. I'm
Okay.
good.
What's going on, Coach Walker?
What's going on, brother? How you feeling?
Doing good, doing good.
I've been trying to bite my tongue with this mess, and I'm just at a loss for words here. Stephen A. Smith only talks about topics when the ratings on First Take is low. Undisputed has been kicking First Take in the draws for God knows how long.
That's true.
And the crazy part about it is you want to talk about these young ladies with this volleyball issue, which again, let me say this first. Yes, it was wrong how things were handled, and I'm going to get to that part in a second. But what about the young ladies from Delaware State? The only person to really talk about that was Roland Martin. Why you got a big platform here? Why are you not talking about that? Any other time if something was going on with Kaepernick, you the first one want to jump out the window and you got something to say about what Cap got going on. You know, true, good, bad, or ugly. Only time we really hear anything about him saying anything about HBCUs is when there's something going on with the HBCU and he's front and center.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, bro, put your money where your mouth is and cut the crap. I mean, enough is enough, man. I mean, we sit and listen to folks want to kick HBCUs in the draws all day, every day. Put up or shut up. Because at the end of the day, guess what? These HBCUs need help. Matter of fact, the biggest topic right now is talking about ESPN and this freaking contract with these HBCUs. Don't he work for ESPN?
Yeah. Right.
But you got so much to say about an HBCU that's caught up in all of this crap right now. Where are you to come in here and say, hey, listen, guys, we need to rethink and look at some of this other stuff in the manner in which we do so that we can move forward with what we're trying to go with here. Everybody has a number that they can put on the culture. When you don't know nothing about the damn culture.
Mm.
You can't put a number on the culture if you ain't never been in the damn culture.
Speak on it.
I mean, come on, man. If you go look at every daggone HBCU around this country, where are they sitting in the middle of? They sit in the middle of Section 8 housing, in which, yeah, it looked great when they first put the university or the college there in the area. But after time, what happened? There was no funding going back to them places. There was no money being sent back in them areas. But here in Atlanta, you can let somebody put $1 billion stadium downtown, and then you wipe all of that out that you put around Morris Brown College. But everybody want a hip-hop parade talking about Morris Brown College. Where was you at when we was asking for money? Where was you at when we was asking for help? But now everybody went, oh, yeah, hooray, yeah, Morris Brown, whoop-de-whoop. Where was you at when we needed your damn help?
It's true.
Everybody sat back with their daggone arms crossed and folded and didn't have nothing to say, especially when we were sitting here getting jerked by the damn mayor trying to get help to make sure we held on to what we had down there. So you understand one thing? We ended up with HBCUs because we weren't allowed to go to schools nowhere else to get education. And a lot of these daggone HBCUs that's out here, they were built off the back of people that look like you and me.
That's true.
So where's the fun in that then?
G-Dub says if
I'm just
let me read what G-Dub said. G-Dub says if people want the swag to be mainstream, you have to take what comes with it. Handle your business before you step in front of people. G-Dub, that's fine. Go ahead, Coach. Speak on that.
I agree. G-Dub, I love you, brother. I agree with you 100%. But this is the thing. People want to say what the SWAC is worth right now. We just talking about football. We ain't talking about basketball. We ain't talking about baseball. We ain't talking about volleyball. We ain't talking about track. We ain't talking about bowling. Hell, we ain't even talking about knitting class. We ain't talking about golf. We ain't talking about foosball. We ain't talking about intramural sports. We ain't talking about none of that. We just talking about football. Football. So let's go back. Let's go jump in the time machine right quick. I'm sure Mr. Ford would like this. I'm pretty sure he's gonna tap on the end of this what I'm about to say. You're trying to say that Jerry Rice historical info ain't worth nothing. Walter Payton. Matter of fact, here's go one for you. How about the daggone McNair family? From Coach Fred McNair, Steve, and their brother Tim. Let alone they got kids that's on the daggone team right now.
Yeah.
What about all of those other players that came through that got drafted to the NFL? Your straight hands. Your I said Jerry Rice already, and a couple of those other players that's out there that came through, made it. This stuff not worth nothing. What about when Martin Luther King and Coach Simmons? I'm gonna take this one first because we talked about this earlier today. What about Martin Luther King doing a speech at Itabena? Oops, did anybody know that one? I mean, Eddie Robinson.
Let me read what Pharaoh is talking about. Go ahead, Coach. Finish your point.
The crazy thing about it is that when I hear about coaches here, there's a coach here, Coach Gartrell over at Southwest Academy, he retired. He talked about how he had to take the film, not the VHS film, where he had to take the reels and go to Eddie Robinson to get kids in school over there. That's what I'm saying. It hit a lot different for me, and I'm sure it hit a lot different from everybody else because everybody else feels and think differently than the masses. That's just how we are.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm just sitting here like, ooh, okay. And I get it. I get it. Yes, the SWAC should be getting more money back based on what we see right now. But if we're business-minded folks, you do understand there's a thing called forecasting. And if we're not forecasting what we looked at before to what we got going on now, yeah, I can kind of see what, the needle need to be moved a little bit. But give it 2 or 3 years where you really got some bargaining power to go stand on and say, yo, y'all need to switch this up.
Okay, Coach.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to touch on what Pharaoh Trey is talking about, the Delaware State situation. So the lacrosse team was pulled over by the police. They was pretty much racial profile. They searched the team bus and all that kind of stuff. So that's what happened with that. And you know,
in Liberty, it was in Liberty, Georgia.
Yeah, and so ESPN they didn't make that a big thing. You know, so when it comes to racism, they won't make that a big story because they know that's when people start getting fired because they know the main watchers that they have are usually people of predominantly white areas, and they don't want to make them uncomfortable. So talking about racism makes their viewers uncomfortable. So you could talk bad about black people, but as soon as you start talking about racism and racist white people, that's when it's a problem. That's why they don't cover that stuff. And that's my problem with ESPN. You can be hyped up and have all this energy for black people, but when it comes to talking about racism in America, you're silent on it.
I agree. But you know what, Steve? I see Mr. Steve Campbell up there. That's a sharp dude. That's a sharp brother right there. Mm-hmm. He said something earlier today that I heard in passing. And the crazy thing is, he's right about the as far as the amount that the SWAC is actually worth 10%.
Mr. Ford,
I'm gonna go up on that.
Mr. Ford, you can chime in too. You on the call, Mr. Ford? You can chime in.
Oh, hey, Mr. Ford, how you doing?
Hey, bro, Walker, what years were you at Myers Brown?
91 and 96.
Okay, now you played ball over there?
Yes, sir, 92.
Now, you won the Greg. Who was your coach?
Thompson.
Yeah, Greg. Okay, and you're from where? Where's your hometown?
Detroit, Michigan. He told us that the folks up in Midwest couldn't play no football, so I had to show them what time it was.
So you from Persian? You from Northwestern? Which high school?
I'm from Bishop Borges. I went to a Catholic high school.
You went to Catholic high school? Okay.
Yeah, Redford Township.
Right. I had a cousin play for Morris Brown. When he played for my cousin played for Morris Brown, Thompson was offensive coordinator Lambert Reed was the head coach.
I remember Lambert Reed. He came out of there before I got there.
Yeah. That was my years because my undergraduate is from Clark. At that time called Clark College. And Morris Brown used to beat us to death every year. They beat us for about 40 years in a row. But listen, let me just say this about this whole, because I've been hearing it and I've been turning it off. I've been hearing all that stuff every day about what the SWAC is worth and what, who this and how much they get. Let me just say this. What the SWAC is going to have to do is they're going to have their own network. Listen, I was looking at the University of Texas network today. Now, they decided at the University of Texas that they were going to have their own network, okay? Now, look at this now. The SWAC has 12 institutions. Texas is one school. You're going to tell me that the SWAC with 12 institutions can't have their own network? I think Florida A&M teaches journalism, Southern teaches journalism, Alabama State teaches journalism, Jackson State teaches journalism, has a television station, Southern University teaches journalism, Grambling teaches journalism, Texas Southern teaches journalism, Prairie View teaches journalism. Tell me why they can't come together and those 12 institutions can't come together and put together a network of their own, and so that they don't have to put any of their content or have to deal with ESPN, they would have their own network. Somebody tell me why. Now, this other thing about...
Okay, let me jump in on that, Mr. Ford. This is where I'm at with that. Some of the points that people have made, they have been valid points. I give them that, because I'm not going to poo-poo on what nobody think or how they feel.
Right.
Mr. Campbell, I'm going to start with Mr. Campbell first. He made an excellent point earlier today as far as with the SEC, as far as the SWAC and the SEC, saying that the SWAC is worth, well, I think he said like 10% of what the SEC is worth as far as a media deal. I'm gonna up that. I'm gonna say we're actually worth 25. And why I say 25, because all of the history that's there that has not been told. There's so much history that many of us don't know unless we dig into that to find out what's going on. Now, as far as people making the decisions that they make, that from that standpoint, that comes down to, again, you got to vote. It ain't just you walking off and say, hey, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and this is it. It don't run that way. Because if it ran that way, then guess what? These people, everybody out here be saying, screw you, I'm going to do what I want to do, and we go from there. Basically, that's what's going on now. So it's like you're agreeing to something, and then you decide, hey, I'm going to go ahead and flip mode this thing. I'm going to go a different direction. And if I get busted, get my hand slapped, cool, get my hand slapped. But at the end of the day, all I'm saying is this. It comes a time where either A, we're gonna come together as a united front and move this needle to where it needs to be moved, or we're not. And right now what's going on is everybody's kicking everybody else in the drawers, trying to make a point about whatever, and not really understanding what's really at hand here, what's really at stake. Now, again, I'm the type of person, I want to see it in black and white. You're going to tell me that somebody gave X, Y, and Z away? If you gave it away, then damn it, put the paperwork on the table so we can all see it. And then we'll just sit here and ask you 1,000,001 questions of what the heck was you thinking about. Now, like I said, as far as like with the thing that's going on with Grambling, people were saying, hey, why haven't they said anything? Well, guys, to be honest with you, that's how HBCUs have always been, where they're more so been like, hey, we just going to go ahead and let this situation just go on and breeze on off to the left and to the right, and then we'll come back and say something about it after the fact. Because they're not going to sit there and go back and forth with no confrontation or no argument about trying to get somebody to understand what's happening. It's not going to go down that way. And that's the thing where I'm sitting here like, okay, God, can we collectively please come sit down at the table and talk?
I think what a lot of people will say and detractors will say is that, the SWAC doesn't have enough money to do a network like that. That's what they'll say. But I think it could be done. Okay. You just have to get the right people in place to really come up with it, with the ideas for the network. It could be done.
They need to go and sit down with Kathy Hughes. She has a network. All they got to do is sit down with Kathy Hughes. She will tell them the ins and outs of the communication business. That's all they got to do. But my whole thing is, you got to understand, when you own your own network, you're in a better position. Mm-hmm. I think that all of us need to go back and read that book that Marcus Garvey's wife wrote, which was The Philosophy and Opinions of Marcus Garvey. Listen, when you own your own stuff and you don't have to beg the white man for nothing, you're in a good position. And that's what we got to remember. See, it's too many of us who are brainwashed who think that man's water is colder than ours, okay? And so what I'm saying is the best thing, it's just like having a car. You got 3 options. You can Uber every day, you can borrow somebody's car, or you can have your own car. Which one is the best option? I say having your own car. And that's what I say about the SWAC. You can continue to use ESPN, you can use Byron Allen, but in the end, the best thing you can do is to have your own SWAC network. Just like the University of Texas got their own network, the SWAC need their own network.
But guess what? The University of Texas, and I could be misspeaking when I say this, the University of Texas, when they went back and renegotiated, was it they with who, the ACC? Is that who they with?
No, Big 12. Big 12. Big 12.
Big 12. So if I'm not mistaken, if they went back and when they went back and renegotiated, didn't they kind of jam themselves up to where they weren't going to be able to stand alone on that channel no more? To where they had to go.
Big 12, the other members of the Big 12 didn't like it, but they still have their own. Now, I don't know what the situation is going to be when they join the SEC, but they had their own network in that Big 12. Nobody in the Big 12 liked it. That is also one of the reasons why Texas A&M left the Big 12 and went to the SEC. But when you look at the amount of money of all of the schools that in America, that's the amount of money spent on athletics, nobody spends more than Texas now. Texas spends like $212 million, and that's because of that network.
You got somebody to say, Joey Jackson said, what if the SWAC had its own cable network on DirecTV? Again, it was already stated. You got so many different platforms out there that's looking for content. My question is this. This is the question I've had since the beginning. And SWAC, I hope you don't mind me throwing this young man's name out there. Coach Simmons did a video on this a while back talking about this, where they can go ahead and create their own platform for them to be able to set things up in a manner which they want to, i.e. the Big Ten Network. When the Big Ten Network set up that network, they were not showing their content on that damn network. Why? Because they was already in bed with ESPN and I think it was Fox. And then finally when they came back and they renegotiated, everybody sitting there looking like, wait a minute, the Big Ten Network got X, Y, and Z going on over here with their numbers. So you know what? They was able to get a little bit more money off of their for their content based on what they had already built, because they was putting everybody else's stuff on their network. So people became accustomed to seeing their teams over there playing. Like, I'm like, I think they had, was it the MAC and somebody else over there playing on that network while you had games that were being shown on the other networks, like, i.e., say, for instance, the Ohio State-Michigan game. You automatically know that's going to be shown on Fox. You're not getting that game. That game's going to be shown on Fox. The Michigan State versus Michigan game, that's going to be shown on Fox. So let's say Rutgers and Michigan or something like that. You might see that on the Big Ten Network, or you might see it on ESPN. So basically, it just comes down to what's being allowed for them to show outside of what's being required that's going on these particular channels. And if I'm not mistaken, when the agreement came down, and I'm still trying to find that daggone documentation for it, in one of the videos that I did myself, where I was talking about you have to
come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Oh, my bad. I made a mistake and hit that video. I made a mistake.
So basically, I try to find a video. I try to find a video where I was talking about the actual breakdown of what all was there. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was the SWAC the MEAC challenge, and it was the SWAC MEAC challenge, the Celebration Bowl, and then it was, I think, girls basketball, and then it was I think it was girls basketball in the playoffs, and it was something else that was going on that all was set up that was supposed to go on ESPN.
Okay.
Now, if you got everything else that's going on outside of that, why wouldn't you put that up on your own streaming platform? Matter of fact, the MEAC doing it right now. I just sat there and watched them have tennis on their damn network last week.
And let me make this.
Stevie, you know I wouldn't do coach like that.
Can I make this one? Can I make this point?
Go ahead.
And
go ahead, Mr.
Somebody tell me. I was listening to Miss Steele. I think she's the commissioner of the MEAC, right? Is that correct?
I think that's
Isn't her name Miss Steele? she said. She called the institutions in the MEAC, she said that they were the Elite Eight. And so I heard her say that, and I want to ask you and to the people in your chat, what is elite about the athletic department at Maryland Eastern Shore? What is elite about the athletic department at Coppin State?
I think,
because I always, when you say elite, I think of distinguished, outstanding. So I'm just going to say it again. Somebody tell me what's elite about Maryland Eastern Shore's athletic program and what's elite about Coppin State's athletic program.
I think she was just trying to save face and really just trying to make people confident that the MEAC is back.
Okay,
and
they're going to using the word elite.
Yeah.
She's using it wrong.
I mean, when you, Mr. Ford, when you feel elite, you're going to use the word elite. I agree with what you said, but when you feel elite, you're going to use the word elite.
Yeah.
I'll be the first to say this. If anybody out here want to go ahead and try to run the daggone, be the commissioner, I'll do it. I tell you why I do it, because I done ran football leagues here in the state of Georgia. I had access to fields in 5 different counties. Nobody here in the state had that type of access other than myself. Why? Because I did business accordingly. I knew what it was going to cost as far as the police, renting the facilities, and also I had my own daggone police to make sure if the police that I was renting wasn't doing their job, my police was going to make sure the job was getting done the right way anyway. So you understand the checks and balances of a lot of this stuff that goes on that's been going on checks and balances right now. And I'm not saying that to say, hey, Mr. Commissioner McClellan, move over, let me get in and take your job. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that running an organization, running a league, I was not able to make no daggone decisions on nothing unless the people that was in my league that was paying to be in the freaking league, paying their dues, if they didn't vote yes and I had a majority yes on it, I couldn't do nothing with that. And that was one of the last things that happened on why I folded the freaking league. Because they didn't want to go with the option that I gave them to go with, which was the best daggone option. But now, guess what? Everybody's going with that option.
Well, let me add this. When I listen to that, let me add this. When I listened to that conversation on Dr. Kavir's show with the commissioner of the MEAC, what I got from it was that they're going to stand pat. And that means that they're going to stand pat, they're going to get the same result, which means that the MEAC is going to be a relic of the past. Because I didn't hear nothing new. I didn't hear nothing, no new ideas. First of all, I've said this over and over. Okay, the worst commissioner in black college sports was that man, Dr. Dennis Thomas, who did nothing for almost 20 years. And he's the reason that the MEAC is at this crisis point because of his leadership, and especially during the years of that President's Council being led by the president of Howard University, Dr. Wayne I. Fredericks, who also didn't do nothing. So I'm going to say this. If she's going to stand pat and do nothing, listen, the MEAC is going to go the way of the dinosaur.
Yeah, I think what she wants to do, they're going to have to add some more schools because I don't see the MEAC surviving the way it is now, even with Howard staying. You know, Howard isn't a football power anyway. They're an educational institution. Well, they're big. They're big and known for their academics. So that's the only perk about having them in the MEAC. Go ahead.
Okay, check this out. That's what the MEAC was founded on.
Mm-hmm.
Go look at their rules.
But you got to evolve though. You know, things are going more into athletics now. HBCUs are capitalizing more on athletics. So you got to get with the program.
I'm with you 100%. But the problem is when you have folks in the mindset of this wayward thinking, what do you expect?
And can I interject this?
Some things I agree with, some things I disagree with.
Go ahead, Ms. Ford.
Can I interject this 1 second?
Go ahead, Ms. Ford.
If you go back and look at Howard's football program in the past, they were winning under Doug Porter. If you go back and look at the late mid-'70s, they turned out people like Steve Wilson. But go back and look at the Steve Wilson years. They were winning the MEAC. That was the years of Jay Walker, who talks all that mess on with Tiffany. And then that boy, they called him Ted Sweet White. They were winning. I think they won a Heritage Bowl. I think they won. So I don't understand why we say that Howard is just a academic institution. Florida A&M is an academic institution, but let me just say this about Florida A&M. In an 80-year span, Florida A&M only had 12 losing seasons. Okay? So I think that Howard can be an academic capstone, a great institution for academic, but they can also be great in sports. Because let me tell you something. If you go back and look at the Steve Wilson years when he was head coach up there, they were winning.
Yeah. But it's been a while. It's been a while, though, Mr. Ford.
They don't pick the right people to lead them athletic programs.
That's true.
But that's just like the Morgan State school, though, Mr. Ford. Think about it. Think about it when they was doing all that winning back in the 80s.
Oh, they was, listen, Morgan State has a great history. There's an old man, he was a math teacher. I want to say, maybe Coach Hurst. And then later on, the guy that used to go against Coach Robinson was named Earl Banks. Earl Banks had some, he played against Rob for many years up in Yankee Stadium. If you go back and look about the Battle of the Bronx, when starting in '68, Grambling would go to New York City at Yankee Stadium and battle Morgan State. Morgan State had Raymond Chester, who eventually, and by the way, I hope Raymond Chester's in the Hall of Fame, because he revolutionized that tight end position. He was a tight end who had world-class speed. But, Morgan State has a great issue. Now, let me just tell you this. I don't understand what they're doing up there at Morgan State. Now, this Tyrone Wheatley, he quit months ago, didn't he? And have they named a head coach yet?
And you can't beat up on my whole team now. You can't beat up on my whole team.
Listen, have they named a head coach yet up at Morgan State?
Yeah, Tyrone Wheatley been gone for months now. I think
for months, and they still haven't named anybody. I heard they just named a lady as the athletic director.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read that too.
They don't care. They don't care. When you act like that, first of all, that's unprofessional. That's not right. Matter of fact, did Morgan State have a spring football this year? Did they do spring football?
I believe they did.
Yeah, I think they did.
They did do spring football?
Yeah, they did.
Okay. But it's ridiculous that they don't have a head coach at this time. This is ridiculous.
I think the assistant coach got bumped up.
Okay, and what's his name?
I'm not for certain what the gentleman's name is,
but
if I'm not mistaken, the assistant coach did get bumped up.
The Scott lady who was Bezos' ex-wife, didn't she give Morgan State $40 million? Did she give them $40 million? How much money did that lady? I think her last name is Scott. You remember she was going around giving all them black colleges all this money. Did she give Morgan State like $40 million?
She can come give us some daggone money.
Yeah, I think so.
I know she gave Prairie View some money. I think she gave a number of black schools money. Somebody tell me in the chat. Am I wrong on that?
Well, yeah, I want to.
Was named Mackenzie Scott.
I want to circle back so we can get back on topic with the show. I want to circle back, and I want to know y'all opinions on what HBCUs can do to get mainstream media to stop putting us out there in mainstream media only with negative things. Like, what can we do as fans and people, that watch SWAC content or HBCU content? What can we do?
You want me to go first, SWAC?
Go ahead.
Okay, the first thing black schools got to do is they got to be able to control the narrative. That's what the oppressor has always done to us. He controls the narrative. How do you control the narrative? You have your own media. Yeah. Okay? You cannot expect your oppressor to present you in a positive light because he sees you as an enemy. So we are foolish if we think that they're going to ever put anything positive out there about us. Like I said, let's go back to what I said earlier. Get your own network. That's how you control the narrative. Coach, I'm giving it over to you.
Ma, you said a mouthful because when you said control the narrative, I was about to say just today, give you a prime example of how a gentleman was able to control the narrative on some crap that was said about him. And the crazy thing was Sauce Gardner from Cincinnati. He's not SWAC, he's not HBCU, but I just want to use this example. Sauce Gardner signed his contract. He already broke down his money as far as what he's going to get after taxes. Then it comes out the number one. He's talking about the number one jersey because that's the number on his jersey that he wore at Cincinnati. They were saying that he paid somebody on the Jets like $250,000 for the number one. He saw the crap on social media. Guess what? He killed it immediately. So it's like if you don't have people out there that's willing to go ahead, just willing to have your back as far as what's going on, then this is what you're dealing with. Yeah. These people don't have our back. They've never had our back. I'm like, come on, man, let's be real here. We just got allowed to play in the daggone NFL. What was it, in the 60s?
40.
When was it?
Marion Motley. Remember Marion Motley and them played in the 40. Cleveland Browns. He was out of South Carolina State.
And if I'm not mistaken, we had to go to court to get permission to play a game that they're making hundreds of billions of dollars off our backs right now.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I think 70% of the NFL is black.
Like, again, I'm trying to understand what's going on here.
Yeah.
You crucified a man for taking a knee. It was before the national anthem, and I'm not poo-pooing on anybody that has served this country. I love you. Thank you for serving, because that's something dang so I wouldn't have been able to do. My uncle tried to get me to do it because he was a daggone recruit, but that's a whole other story. He was the recruiter. I'm like, we ain't doing that. But back to the topic at hand, what I'm saying is that people don't understand that before, the national anthem was not always played before a game.
No.
It wasn't. So now you're getting a check cut from these folks. Yes, you're bringing this back out here for people to see this, and because people don't agree, this is what we're dealing with. This is what I'm saying. I'm like, guys, at what point in time are we going to put our foot down and say, all right, look, man, enough is enough? Because guess what? If we don't collectively do it without the clown show, without us scratching the corner at each other, guess what? It goes on deaf ears. Yep. People are now understanding the fact that what the SWAC, what HBCU in general, HBCU culture, sports, period, across the board is worth. HBCU sports and culture across the board is worth more than the damn SEC. And I'll book
without a doubt. Can I interject something right quick?
Go ahead and finish up your point, Mr. Ford. I don't want to make the show go too late, so go ahead and finish up your point.
They just did a poll of Division I athletes in the Midwest, and guess what the black athletes are talking about? They would all like to transfer to where? A HBCU in the South. I'm through with it.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate y'all calling in tonight, giving up the good game. Appreciate y'all calling in. I know it's late. Everybody trying to go to sleep. Y'all probably got to go to work tomorrow, but appreciate y'all tuning in. Thank you, Mr. Ford and Coach Walker, for calling in tonight. I appreciate y'all.
No problem, bro.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. Yes, sir.
Y'all have a good night. Appreciate you, Mr. Walker.
All right, Mr. Ford.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Have a great night.
All right, you too.
Okay.
Well, yeah, y'all, that was the show tonight. But yeah, I definitely think the SWAC needs to work on getting their own network. And we really have to call these people out in the media when they come online, when they come on these national airways trying to come for HBCUs and put HBCUs in a bad light. So that's one thing that, I think we need to do. We as fans, we need to go at these media heads like Stephen A. Smith and really put pressure on them to like, hey man, when you go on TV, don't just talk about us when it's something negative. Talk about us when we're doing positive. Don't tell parents you need to be careful with sending your kids to Grambling. That's BS. You should not be doing anything like that because that makes HBCUs look bad. But I think that's what we need to work on. But I appreciate y'all tuning in tonight. We did a late show tonight. I'll be doing other live streams later on in the week. I'll be dropping other videos too. So make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel yet. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Appreciate Coach Walker. Thank you, Coach Walker, for calling in tonight. Thank you, Mr. Ford, for calling in. Yeah, we had a good show tonight. I know it was late. I like doing late shows though. Yeah, let me know if y'all like doing late shows. Y'all like being up late. I know a lot of other people, they probably like doing their shows earlier, but I wanted to see how people like the late shows. Do y'all like being up late doing shows at night? Well, majority of the time I'll be on around 8 or 9 o'clock. But I like doing late shows. You know, I'm a night owl anyway, so I like doing late shows. But I appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button before you leave so the stream can get out to more people. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. And I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm gone.